Hey guys, welcome back to Whiteboard Friday. This is Noel Coleman with Connect Healthcare. Today we're going to talk about the truth about SEO basics. And one of the things that's prompting me to do this is a conversation that we've been seeing a lot happening in the healthcare marketing world that talks about this myth that the site that has the most ratings wins. All of you know that we've been doing a lot of conversations around patient experience, transparency, and reputation management. Hugely important topic. One of the challenges is that there's this myth that's going around that's saying that the site that has the most ratings will always win. So for example, if you've got 300 ratings on your site, HealthGrades has 5, that your site will always come up first in search. And this is patently untrue. And one of the things is that if it was that simple to game, other people would have already done it. Google's algorithms are more complex than that. So today we really want to talk about what it is that makes a page great. What is it that helps you to make a site come higher in search? And the key thing here is focus. You've got to know what you're trying to come up high for. So there's no site that's going to come up high for every single search term. What you've got to realize is that it depends on what the user is looking for and what you're trying to match up with. So one of the first things is keywords. Do you have the research to know what keywords people are searching on? And this is really, really important because if you want to come up for certain service lines, certain conditions, diseases, procedures, it depends on what your corporate strategy is and how your marketing team is playing into that. So identifying what are the things that people want to be able to find doctors for. And so things like bios and clinical interest in diseases and procedures, these are all things that are very, very important to make sure that you're putting some real effort and thought into, which obviously comes into play with some of the data management side of what we've talked about in other Whiteboard Fridays. Also, crawlability. So how crawlable is your site? How readable is it to the search engines? We're going to come back to this down here when we talk about rich snippets, but ultimately there's some fundamentals around making sure that your site is crawlable, has robots.txt files correctly done, XML sitemaps, things like that really help. Now the other components of these are things like load speed, making sure that your site loads fast. Google will penalize your site if it doesn't load the page in a minimum amount of time. Now that changes a bit over time. Right now it's about 1.5 seconds basically is what they're looking for. Other components are things like titles and descriptions, so meta titles, meta descriptions, making sure that not only you have those, but you also have them and they're unique. So you don't want to have just constantly replicated things for example, the meta description that just says, find a doctor. You want to have something that's a little bit more specific to that particular page. That will help your search engine optimization. Now, we come down here to the structure of the rich snippets. Now, this is a really big conversation because rich snippets can be very tricky. If you go to schema.org, that's schema.org, you can actually see that there's a lot of different documentation around how you go about doing rich snippets. But in effect, as a very broad overview, rich snippets are additional information that allow the search engines to know how to put your pages in context to what a user is searching for. So, for example, if they're searching for cardiologist Birmingham, right? So what they know is by context that this person is looking for a human being who offers a service in cardiology in the city of Birmingham, Alabama. Now, if they wanted to type that whole thing out, that would be a very different set of keywords. But the words cardiologist Birmingham can appear on a lot of different types of pages. So they want to be able to pull back, Google in particular wants to be able to pull back in context the kind of thing that the user is looking for. So doing a little bit of semantic search is what we're talking about here. So the rich snippets allow that to happen, and they also allow them to be able to pull in relevant pieces of content to their search results. Things like your ratings, videos, photos, all those sorts of things, various different types of content that make click-through rates increase. So you can actually get more people clicking through from the search engine results into your pages. Now, another component of this, and this actually comes off to off-page SEO, where we begin talking about engagement. So when you have more people clicking through and you have more relevant content there, One of the factors for your site and search engine optimization is how engaged people get with the pages once they leave the search engine results. So are they clicking through to other pages deeper in the site? And so this is one of the things that organizations like HealthGrades do very well, because they have hundreds of links on all of their pages linking to other content and things like that, and so people tend to dig in. And this is one of those areas where you can make sure that you're putting relevant links on the physician's profile pages deeper into your pages and your content, helping to get a bit more of that engagement. Now, the other components here are links and social reputation. These kind of tie together. So basically one of the things is who is linking to you, okay? So there's external links. There's also internal links. So making sure that your pages that rank very highly, that have a high page rank, like your home page and other pages that are visited a lot, link to your physician pages, because what Google and the other search engines do is they'll carry that page rank through, because they'll say if this page that's highly ranked is linking to this other page, some of that Google juice, if you will, gets carried through. So you want to make sure that you've got good internal linkage. And this is, again, those third-party sites do this very well. They do this all the time, constantly creating that linkage between the pages on their site. Then there's the external, and this is where it ties into social reputation. So the question is, how many other sites that are social sites or popular pages or respected pages that are relevant to your topic on that page link into you? And so Google will look at that and they say, well, hey, if another organization, let's say for example, Mayo Clinic has content that links over into your pages, then they'll say, well, the Mayo Clinic is a very respected, highly trafficked, highly ranked site. If they're linking to you, then that's sort of like a friend saying, hey, I recommend this, and then you have a bit of their credibility that's passed on to you. Well, it's the same kind of concept. So one of the things you can do to help affect your links as well as your social reputation is actually have campaigns that helps your physicians to know that, hey, maybe you should link your other social or digital footprints back into your profile on our site. Maybe having other people share those profiles out on other sites. And so this will help you gain those inbound links, and it will also help you get more of those shares in social, which again drives your SEO. And that's going to be a really, really big component. Now, there are a couple of things that are really helpful to know that are just generally bad. So for example, thin content. This sort of gets back up to the keywords and the research we started with, is making sure that you don't have thin content. I call this the skeleton data profile, or the telephone book. It's basically a find a doctor tool that has phone numbers and specialties, and that's about it. So there's really not a whole lot there for the user to go off of. That can generally be bad for your SEO. Stuffing. So this sort of gets to the opposite side of keywords, which is you go crazy overboard with certain keywords, trying to stuff them into the page. Google will penalize you for that sort of thing. And then finally, one that is not always relevant to a healthcare site, but it is something to know about, is if it is ad heavy above the fold. So if you have a lot of ads and things like that on your page that you're putting in there to promote other things, Google can penalize you for that. So this is a bit of a sort of a murky area for most healthcare or hospital websites. So it's not exactly the same as it would be for somebody like HealthGrades who actually sells ads on their site. But it is something good to know about. So with this kind of basic framework, this helps you kind of get a better idea of Google's algorithms and what it takes to truly make your pages be great and come up higher in search. So until next time, thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.